Hi, it's Katie Sariani Bowl, and I'm back with Katie Stories number 56. And yeah, I hope you're having a great summer. I'm really enjoying pretending things are normal. Yeah, pretending, because they're not normal. We all know it's just a matter of time before the Delta variant comes and everything starts locking down again. They are ramping up the push to divide these people from these people. In some ways, it's not working, and I think it's great that it's actually just kind of there's a counter effect where people are seeing like, that's really crappy. It is really divisive, so good. I'm glad that their plan is falling apart. You know, last time I came on here was Canada Day, and gosh, that was a long time ago, wasn't it? And again, you don't hear much right now on everything with Canada Day and canceling Canada, because I don't think it worked. I think people saw through their bullshit, that they are just trying to push this narrative to divide us, but we're too smart. Canadians are too smart and loving and friendly. And it's not to say there's an absence of racism at some level. We're not perfect. No country's perfect, but we were all getting along pretty damn good before that little turd came along trying to cause trouble. And hey, you know what? I embrace everything, because if it opens a conversation and a much needed one, then we go for it. That's awesome, right? And learn, heal, move on. So yeah, I'm just thinking about fall right now, looking at my notes. It was really hard to come on and do this story. I'm rusty. Having a great summer. Just been, well, as soon as summer kicked off, I did my Canada Day story from Bowser on the beach. We went up to the Caribou for a couple of days. That was great. I was up in Tofino, Long Beach, just for the day with a bunch of friends. Some friends came out from back east, and that was awesome. And enjoyed a few more outdoorsy things while everybody was here. And that's really it. I've been kind of just lying low, going to the beach. Yoga, hot yoga's back. So at Oxygen, I've been so glad to be back there. That's been really great. And yeah, I'm just thinking, you know, everything going on right now with Afghanistan. Just awful. Horrible. And if that just isn't enough evidence for you that that guy that got in down our neighbor is evil, I don't know what to tell you. I kind of said that all along, right? That I wasn't saying I like Trump. I just think that, you know, in the event of an asshole running a country or someone like evil, I'd rather the first one. And who knows, maybe he's kind of in on it with them. And in on what, Katie? What are you talking about? Oh, yeah. The pandemic. That really, this is just all about money. We got this election now, right? Vanity election, because he just wants the majority, and he's going to crush us, and he's going to get it. He is. Everyone's booing him. Like, if you look at all of the mainstream media is doing their best to downplay the conservatives and put everybody down and make their golden boy. But when you look at all of the other things going on, the other media out there, it's a joke, and he's being laughed at, and he does not like that. He wants a majority because he was unable to shove through that Bill C-10 at the last minute. That's the one where he wants to regulate what we can post and watch and see on the internet, because, you know, we were too stupid to figure out for ourselves what we don't want to watch and push the button and turn off. But really, no, he doesn't want to be made fun of. He wants to crush all dissent. And that's what dictators do. They get control of the media to drive their narrative, and they crush all dissent. They want to crush their opposition, and that is what they do. And if you don't believe me, just watch this little video on the media and how easy it is to control when you've got that.
Sometimes hear about liberal bias in the media these days, how they're constantly letting our government off the hook for no good reason. Frankly, I think that's insulting. It's clear that they let us off the hook for a very good reason, because we paid them $600 million. You don't get stellar headlines like these without greasing the wheels a bit.
Yeah. So I do find a lot of things are falling apart over in, is it Italy? They were burning their vaxports. They're burning them. That was awesome. In France, like major protests going on with those. People have been tearing them up. I think that's awesome. I hope we get that way here. In Nova Scotia, the big surprise win of the independent who was kicked out of caucus because she didn't agree with the lockdowns. And they kicked her out and she went independent and won. Yeah. So yeah, I have hope. I absolutely have hope that this whole liberal, democratic, woke shit is imploding. Everyone is seeing it for what it is. It's almost, to me, like on a satanic level. It's just beyond what's progressive and rooting for people who are unique. It's turning into something darkness, and that, you know, you will absolutely be strung up if you don't agree with it or believe in it. And I'm talking like transgendered people going into women's washrooms. Now, if someone, this is my opinion, if I knew someone who was a male and had gone through years of hormone therapies and surgeries and things to be a female, I wouldn't have a problem with him coming into my washroom. But for just a man who says he identifies as a woman, no. Because any creepy man can just say that and then come into areas and prey on women and children. So no, I think they need to go back to the drawing board on that one. And with sports, yeah, there might be some really rockin' strong girls that can keep up with a muscly 6'3" male who identifies now as a female on their sports team. But in all likeliness, the female's probably going to get her skull crushed and get injured and lose her rightful, you know, winning, like coming in first or placing, or whether she's going for something really high end like Olympics, because that's why we've always had people apart. You don't put ideology into sports. So I've said that before. I'm going to move on here. Yeah, the pushback is really interesting. Down in the States today, I just read that a big automotive company was trying to mandate all of its workers, saying you have to have this thing before you can work. And so they all walked out. And guess what? Yeah, they took the mandate off. They're not going to force them to do that. So it really is. We have so much power as people. You have no idea. They're kind of fucked without us. So I wanted to put in another little video for you. Yeah, like I'm kind of getting a little off base here, but just how this was all planned, okay? So when I have read to you the liberal email, we're there. Like nothing is a conspiracy theory anymore. It's just all here. Now they've got those camps, the internment camps. I think they're using the old pipeline up west of Vanderhoof. They've got it surrounded by COVID-19, great big posters, big blue and white posters. I'm going to show you the video in a sec. It's a little bit long.
All right, so I've gone on a little trip, and I'm in the middle, almost geographically the middle of British Columbia, just west of Vanderhoof, and I came across this. I'm like, what the hell? It's like a jail in the middle of nowhere. But hey, conspiracy theories come true every day in 2020 and 2021. So if you don't believe it, wake the fuck up. So in the middle of nowhere, one is too many. Oh yeah, how many people are they killing with the vaccine? But they want zero COVID. So what the hell is this for? People need to wake the fuck up. Somebody who I used to respect hugely said, oh, well, without vaccines, we'd still have smallpox and polio. Well, guess what? This is not a vaccine, and this is a different thing they got going on. So who are these for? Who are all these camps for? And why is there electric fences, electric fence and barbed wire? It's a frickin' prison. Share this video. Find out. This is in British Columbia, just west of Vanderhoof. Okay, gotta go.
One death is too many. Really? What about all the deaths and adverse reactions that they're not talking about? So what about all of the suicides in 18 months? The deaths from alcohol? The fentanyl, I can't even go there. Like, look at all of the drug overdoses. The ongoing homelessness issues. I read some stats the other day that 78% of people admitted into ICU with COVID are overweight or obese. But they're not really telling you that and about the benefits of being healthy, taking your vitamins, zinc, getting some sunshine, vitamin D. And, you know, I've always been really open about overcoming an eating disorder and my quest to be as healthy as I can be. And I'll tell you right now, if you're watching this and you are concerned, you have comorbidities or you have extra weight, that puts you at risk for getting really sick from this virus. The easiest way to slim down right now and lose 10 pounds in 2 weeks is stop eating sugar. So watch everything that has hidden sugar, because everything has hidden sugar. Like, eat real food. But right now, just for 2 weeks, don't eat any sugar and have protein with every meal. So I'm talking like, if you're going to have a slice of watermelon this afternoon, have some almonds with it. Have a bit of chicken or a bite of steak on your way out the door in the morning with those strawberries or an egg. Your body can't burn fat when insulin is present. So when you balance the sugar spike, when you're eating fruit, that's why I like chocolate covered almonds. So when you're eating sweet things and you balance that, it helps balance the sugar spike. So when you're not spiking, you're not hungry. You're more grounded. And so apart from that, this has all been planned, right? So I'm going to show you this next video. It has. You're going to watch in this video that I'm about to show you. Dr. Tam recorded this in 2010, outbreak, about what they would do if there was ever a pandemic.
Worst case scenarios in terms of an infectious disease outbreak, in that their cooperation is sought. If there are people who are non-compliant, there are definitely laws and public health powers that can quarantine people in mandatory settings. It's potential you could track people, put bracelets on their arms, have police and other setups to ensure quarantine is undertaken.
And so you might counter me and say, well, see, because they had this all planned because they figured something would come along. But remember, we are talking about 99.7% recovery rate. We are talking about almost all of the deaths were in 80, 90-year-old people who had many other comorbidities. And never did we ever call that the flu. Like, when someone dies, you didn't say, oh, they died of the flu. No, they died of a heart attack or heart disease or cancer, these other things. But all of a sudden now, this is layered on top. And that's why Dita Henshaw was not able to provide evidence under the Pat King court case. It's not isolated and they can't prove it. Now, I think they've tried to change something with the variant because they're trying to say they have absolute proof. But variants, even my big sister's a nurse, knows they weaken. They don't strengthen. So I don't know how they're going to bullshit their way through this one. But I just thought that was interesting. You know, I have to say, to me, and I'm not scared, I guess, because I trust. I trust. Not just even the big God word, but universe, source, the stars, moon. We're all here for a purpose. And no one owns the skies or the seas or, the air. It's our birthright. It's our birthright to have abundance and to be free. And so is this end times? Well, I can't help but think, like my gut feels that this is a prerequisite to the mark of the beast. And I don't know a lot about the Bible, so I'm not, please don't take it that I'm like preaching at you or shoving things down your throat, because I could maybe quote like 10 verses out of the Bible. But I believe there's absolutely something guiding me and surrounding me and wanting me to talk about this. And I see many people out there talking about it. And the mark of the beast in the Bible is that we're going to get to a point where the Antichrist, I don't know, the Pope, Trump, if he comes back and gets everything right again, just to turn on us, and that he really was part of this whole thing. I say that because I want to believe he's done some really great things. I've watched like all the things he's done. They've been great, but he's a big fan of this thing. So that doesn't sit well with me, looking at all of the adverse reactions and deaths. It doesn't sit well with me when I look at the coercion, like the Nuremberg Code, World War II. Why do you think they came up with that? And that goes right over people's heads. It just does. It's illegal. They cannot force you to take an experimental thing. They can't. Same with employers. I'm just shocked that they would be so stupid to try and go along with this big, herd mass. Oh, you have to do that before you can come back. 99.7 recovery. Because there's going to be a lot of lawsuits. And they know this, right? So they're rushing. They're pushing and forcing. And I know when I do that kind of shit in my life, it blows up on me. So I'm praying that kind of blows up on them. Mark of the beast is where eventually there'll be something on your forehead or your right hand. And if you don't get it, you'll be denied the right to shop or sell, right? To buy and sell. And so I hope we're not there. If we are, though, remember this video. And I hope that you will pray. Just pray and ask Jesus into your heart and God to forgive all your sins. Because that's the only way we're going to get out of this one. But I do think our world is full of amazing, beautiful people. And they're fighting. These voices are being squashed. There's been people killed. Anthony Bourdain, he traveled. He absolutely was stumbling across things with human trafficking and child trafficking. He knew too much. Same with John McAfee virus protection. He's amazing. Like, Google some of his videos. He's just a beautiful soul. And he was speaking out very openly about the deep state. And absolutely, in my opinion, there's a cabal. They worship Lucifer. We've always heard about that, like in rock and roll, sell your soul to the devil. And people have. And we don't really pay much attention to it because you hear about it and it's always hush hush and these little things of people practicing worshiping Satan. But it's gotten so that there's some really dark souls among us at the top of the chain in the world. And they are very anti-God. They have plans for the world that our God wouldn't approve of. Someone is deciding. Like, when we talk about this thing, this is depopulation. Like, Bill Gates, his parents were eugenics professors. He's openly said, that our world can only go to about 11 million. So we need to get it down. So it's funny that people are so excited to get this from a guy who was like super close with Jeffrey Epstein. That was a conspiracy last year. It's out now. He's been questioned. He can't seem to really answer that. Oh, I just made a bad choice. I thought I was going to get him money off him. Really? But actually, he was spending time just hanging out with him in his New York apartment, when his marriage wasn't going so good. So you can believe he's a cuddly, sweet guy in his fuzzy sweaters, but that's not what I believe. And so I applaud you. I've seen you on Facebook. I'm talking to you more and more. I have people who've privately messaged me and thanked me for doing what I do and for being brave and speaking out. And some of them have asked me how I do that. I don't know, without worrying about being punished or losing friends. I tell them I do it because, well, something just compels me to. I'm not scared because I trust God. I have my trust. And believe me, I've been through things in the last few years that I've seen his forgiveness. I've also seen him bring me to my knees when I've needed it. When I have made choices that weren't so godly or with integrity. And so I really applaud you. That's what I was saying, was I applaud you, men and women who've been following me and are now starting to post on your accounts. That just thrills me because that was my answer. I have nothing to lose because we have so much to lose. I have had my years of freedom. I'm so grateful I was born in the 60s, was a kid in the 70s and a teen in the 80s, plus a young adult. I just had so much of it. And I want that for my daughter and for your children and for our future children and grandchildren. And I really feel this is tyranny. This is an absolute guise to bring in this new world order. And you know, George Bush Sr. said, new order is coming. New world order will be coming one day. Don't kid yourself. So again, I think it really boils down to you do know the truth. You don't want to hear it because it scares you. I'm not talking to the people posting right now. I'm talking to the people who, I think you're still my friend and you know I love you. I think you still love me. But you don't want to hear about this. You feel it's real. Yet you know that 0% mortality rate is happening with children. 0. They don't die. You know that the young men, particularly young teens, young adult years, are getting this, I'm not going to pronounce it right, but myopic, the heart condition, which again they've tried to downplay, like Dina Henshaw in Alberta saying, oh, it's just a bit of scar tissue. It's not. Like it's causing massive problems. And our children should not be in school wearing masks. The masks, this is so they can read your eyes. Do you get that? They're following a model from China, a surveillance model, and it's all tied into credit score. So that's what they want to do with the passports, the vaxports, is tie it all into a credit score. And constant surveillance will continue, whether it's our own phones, our own technology, or surveillance, especially in the larger areas, the cities, where they can recognize your eyes because they're unique. It's also about compliance. So yeah, I just say right now, we have so much to lose that this is really now our last window, and things are going to get dark. The news just showed today the inflation is really starting to spike, and you're seeing it in the grocery stores. Last week, it was crazy. I almost posted it on Facebook. It cost me like $81 for this tiny little bit of groceries. Now, I had 2 birthday cards in there, so there's $12 gone, right? So now we're down to $69. And then I thought, oh, okay, we'll take out the 2 bags of popcorn, you know, that I can't remember what they're called, but I took those out and we're still down to $61, right? Just for a couple of groceries. So it's coming. I hope you're stocking up. I hope you have a garden. I hope you're just preparing, because I love you. It's not my wish to be right and for others to be wrong or for anyone to suffer harm. It's my wish that we all stand up and push back and show our power before it's too late. Just before they really start fucking with our money and making it all so everyone, I know we're digital now, but believe me, like, there's cash. You can still do a lot of things right now, and they want to take that away. They want to take that away so that eventually you are completely dependent on the system. And your compliance or your dissent will determine how well you do, if you can move. That's what they do in China. They will, if you're a dissenter, they're completely controlled there. They will block you from being able to move, from moving up in a career. And yeah, the guy running the show here, he's a big fan of that. He's talked all about it. It's quite open. There's been a lot hidden. Even the RCMP have been trying to investigate. The privacy commissioner back east in Ottawa, never in the history of our country, in Canada, have they refused to comply with the 30-day Privacy Act and turn over the documents. Never in history of Canada have we had a House demand unredacted documents and been refused. It just doesn't happen. This is beyond being bratty and cheeky. This is a coup. Like, they, in my opinion, the Democrats and Liberals are trying to pull a coup that they are staying in power forever, with the help of their friends at the CPP, Chinese Communist Party, funding the news. Funding. And it all started quite friendly 40 years ago. Hey, we want to put some money in, and it's a friendship thing. But it's become really, really infiltrated and dominant. And so, I don't know if I'm coming on anymore. And you might wonder if I have a plan. I do. I do. And it won't be like being back at the school district wearing like a I-95 mask or whatever they say. I think they're trying to call for that back east right now. And yeah, I've seen this coming, so I am preparing. And to all of you who know something's not right, I encourage you to start really focusing on the news, not what they're saying, what they're not saying, what they're not telling you. I encourage you to start looking at conservative sources. They're not a bunch of crazy quacks. They're just common sense. It's common sense. And there's a vicious, vicious attack and trying to squash all of that, to snow you. Don't believe it. And kids, if there's kids watching this, it's none of your business. Don't ask your friends if they've had that. It's private medical information. It's nobody's business. It's not. And it's really divisive. And they want to push a rhetoric for you to be unkind and mean and even disrespectful and possibly even violent towards those who want to respect their right, their human right, my body, my choice. Do not go there. God is watching. You don't want to go there. Don't be a sheep. Learn to think for yourself and learn to feel for yourself. You don't learn to feel from what the media is telling you. You learn on your own. You go to the park, you go lie in your backyard and think, this doesn't sound right. This sounds like what they taught me in grade 10 socials about the Jewish people. What Hitler did, what the Germans did. They slowly brainwashed smart, like intelligent, hardworking, good people in their country. They slowly brainwashed them that the Jews were unhealthy and dirty, and that they were the cause of all of their country's problems. It went from being disrespected to where Jewish people couldn't walk through their towns without having someone spit on them or say something rude to them or trip them, to open acts of violence, to Night of the Broken Glass. And you can Google that, 1938, where the papers ran a big frontline paper headings encouraging people to go smash all the windows and burn the synagogues. And that's what they did. They went through the nights. There was so much broken glass all through Germany that I think the massive glass manufacturer in Belgium couldn't even produce it all, like make enough glass. And then, of course, as time went on, how could anybody have partaken in something so horrible? Don't you? They are following the same model. They are following, I saw it all. I worked in Socials 10 this last year, and they're following the propaganda and the division. And I think I told you on a story a while ago about a woman down in the States talking about critical race theory, saying, don't buy this. This is what China did to divide us, only they used class instead of race. And they use it to divide, and they use the tattletelling, and that's coming too, right? They're going to have like websites where you tattletale, where you Karen out on people who don't have this. God's watching. Don't go there, okay? Anytime the government is pushing you to do this, it's for their self-serving interests. They don't care about you. They don't. And also this woman said, on top of dividing by class, and the Karening was just political correctness in general. That just worrying about what you say and speak, about what you speak. The more they push that is to control and divide. So, united, we stand. Right? So let's be that. Remember, never in history have we set ourselves on fire to put out someone else's fire. It's not the unpoked people making people sick. It's actually the people who got that making each other sick. It sounds crazy, right? The mainstream media is not going to tell you this. Israel, you just look at Israel. They were actually the guinea pig for that, because I think like 85% or 90% of their whole country had it done. They're in so much trouble right now. Google it. And even better, go on DuckDuckGo search engine, because it'll just bring you a lot more results. And then here's this. Immunization expert. Unvaccinated people are not dangerous. Vaccinated people are dangerous for others. Okay, listen to this. I'm not going to play his video. I'm just going to read you the words. World Health Organization European Advisory Group of Experts is in immunization. Former Vice President Professor Christian Perrone yesterday said that all vaccinated people must quarantine over winter months or risk serious illness. Perrone specializes in tropical pathologies and emerging infectious diseases. He was chairman of the specialized, maybe I should let him say it. He was chairman of the Specialized Committee on Communicable Diseases at the High Council of Public Health, confirming the rapidly deteriorating situation in Israel and the UK, because this is happening in Europe too. The people are making each other sick. The infectious disease expert stated people should be put in quarantine and isolated from society. That's horrible. That's actually what they want to do to who isn't getting that done. And isn't that ironic that he's saying, and he's not being mean, he's saying though, they're making each other sick. And the media is hiding that. That's not the narrative they want to push. He went on to say, unvaccinated people are not dangerous. Vaccinated people are dangerous for others. It's proven in Israel now. I'm in contact with many physicians in Israel. They're having big problems, severe cases in the hospitals among vaccinated people, and in the UK also. You have the larger vaccination program, and also there are problems. The current working group on the pandemic in France was reported to be utterly panicked on receipt of the news, fearing pandemonium if it follows the guidance of the experts. 95% of he said, Israeli doctor Kabe Haviv told Channel 13 News, 95% of seriously ill patients are vaccinated. Fully vaccinated people account for 85 to 90% of hospitalizations. We're opening more branches. The effectiveness of the vaccine is declining or disappearing. Okay, so you be nice and let's just love and see how this plays out. Don't listen to the divisive stuff that the media is putting out there, or anyone running the show, because hate never solved a thing, ever. So no, I'm staying natural, and it's not because I don't care. It's because my tummy says something's not right. And in the very beginning, I said this from the very beginning, they could have just gone and put tents outside all of the senior citizen care homes across Canada, across the world, and had temperature checks and rapid tests, and just put all of the concentration to keep the most vulnerable and at risk healthy, while the rest of the world went on. This is about crushing sovereignty, about an economic crisis, while the oligarchs and billionaires are cleaning up all of the money. They are just getting rich, 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 rich. All the money is coming off the earth into their pockets right now. What will be left for us will be crumbs and slavery. I know, cheerful, eh? But that's it. So I hope you will turn off the TV, start finding some great writers like Spencer Fernando, the Epoch Times, National Post, Rebel News does some really great shows. You might not agree, but they do. And guess what? My battery is dying. So it's time to go. And wow, 31 minutes. This is really long. Take some time to watch it. Thank you so much. I hope you'll leave me a thumbs up, subscribe, or not. I don't know if I'm going to do this much longer, so I'll leave that with you. Thank you. Have a great rest of your summer.